Hey PursueGOD production team. In this video we're going to talk about how to edit a PursueGOD video. So funnily enough, in this video we're actually going to be editing a FlexTalk video. And FlexTalk is a sister site to PursueGOD. And it's going to have some different elements, some different files, but the principles are all going to be the same. They're going to look almost identical with just a couple exceptions. So first what we're going to do is I've got Premiere Elements opened up, and I'm going to go to the Expert tab, make sure that's selected so that your screen looks like mine. And then I'm going to go over here to Add Media, Files and Folders. I'm going to go to a folder that I've got, and here I keep all the resources for all the videos that I use. So I use all these resources in each video. So I'm going to select the intro, the outro, and the lower third logo. And since this is FlexTalk, I'm going to select the FlexTalk versions of those. And then I'm going to open that up. And then I'm going to do that one more time, Add Media, Files and Folders. And then this time I'm going to go to the folder that I made specifically for this video. And then I'm going to select my slides that I made in the last video. And then I'm going to select the raw footage of Dave. And I'm just going to hold Control and select all of those. So let's open that up. Okay, so these are all the resources that we need for our video. So you can this project assets window here is going to have everything that we need. So first I'm going to select the FlexTalk intro, and if it's a PursueGOD video, it's going to be the PursueGOD intro. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to drag this onto what's called the timeline. So the timeline is our workspace. We've got different layers of videos. There's a video 1 layer, video 2, video 3, and whatever is on top is going to be shown over whatever's below it. So I've got that in there on the video 2 line, and then this here is my scrubber, and this is going to allow me to navigate throughout the video, and I can just click and drag that wherever. And so let's drag that to the beginning of the video, and then I can pause and play the video with my spacebar key. So I'm going to hit spacebar here. We have this nice, neat, nifty intro to FlexTalk. Okay, so that's there. And then we are going to get our video footage of Dave, and I'm going to drag that into the video 1 line. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit, get a closer look, and you can use this slider here to zoom in. Okay, so this second line here is the audio, and this is called the waveform, and this is a visual representation of the audio. So these little blocks is when it's louder, and then when it's flat it's quieter. So I know that Dave is getting ready at the beginning here, and he's not actually doing anything.
Okay, ready?
So we don't want any of this in our video.
From all outward indications,
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub through, and I'm going to watch the waveform to see where he starts, but I'm also going to watch his mouth to make sure he's not saying anything. And I'm going to go here on the scrubber. There's a scissors button, so I'm going to select that, and it's going to cut the clip into, and then I'm going to select this half that I don't want, and I'm going to hit backspace on my keyboard or delete, and that'll get rid of it. Okay, and then we're going to watch it, and
from all outward indications,
that's not a very good transition between the two. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to transitions, select that. You can cycle through some different transition types at the top here. Make sure that you're on the dissolve tab. And then we're going to take this cross dissolve, and I'm going to drag it over onto our FlexTalk intro clip. And we're going to leave it as is. It's going to be default duration of 1 second. So we'll hit done here. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this clip of Dave, and I'm going to drag it underneath. So that way it'll fade, and when it fades, it'll fade into the footage of Dave. So let's watch that.
From all outward indications, the
Great, that's exactly what we want. It starts off right away with Dave talking. There's nothing awkward in between, and that is a great transition.
From all outward indications, the company was doing well.
Okay. So I've watched through this footage a few times, so I know where Dave's going, and I would suggest you do the same thing. You make sure whatever video you're working on that you understand the topic. So you've read through the outline, you know what the points are, you've made the slides already, and then you've watched through the video so that you know where they're going, so that you can make a seamless, coherent video. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. And the way that we do our videos is we call it slide to slide. So what that means is Dave is going to be on screen from one slide to the next slide, and we want that time there to be as seamless as possible. So we're not going to have any cuts between slides. But what we are going to do is in shooting the video, he says his little introduction, and then he gets to his first point. And then we have the overlaid slide, and that gives him an opportunity to stop, to think about what he's going to say next, to look at his outline and prepare. So he doesn't have to go through the whole video, have the whole thing memorized, and we're going to cut out all of those mistakes, all of those instances of where he's pausing or collecting his thoughts, and then we're going to cover them with the slides to make it look like one seamless video. So I'm going to look at my waveform here, and I can see that he's talking all throughout this, but then there's a flat spot. So that means that he's stopped talking. So I'm going to watch the end of what he's saying to find out where I should make the next cut.
He needs to make sure that, so I'll just stop right there.
Okay, so he had a mistake there. So if you look back here, you'll see he's looking up. We have a TV screen in our studio, and so he's looking back at that TV screen, and he's reading off his point. So we know that that's his point. So we're gonna have an overlay over the top of that. But he messes up, so we don't want to keep that part.
Ensure a productive culture. Now, the first thing a leader needs to do is he needs to make sure that. So I'll just stop right there.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out that statement.
Now, the first thing a leader needs to do,
so he's going to say,
the leader must do to ensure a productive culture.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. That's a perfect spot for me to cut, because I know that he messed up that line, so he's going to say it again. So let's go to the next section of talking.
There are three things the leader must do to increase productivity. The first thing they need to do is they must communicate.
Okay, so he messes up again. So he even repeats a line that we've got here. He repeats the title, the three things a leader must do.
Must do to ensure a productive.
So he's actually given us more options. So we can use either thing depending on what kind of spacing he's giving us before and after.
There are three things the leader must do to ensure a productive culture.
Okay, so he gives us a really nice break right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut that out. So I'm going to hit the scissors here, break that clip up, and I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to delete it with my delete key. So then let's watch this to listen for how seamless it sounds.
To ensure a productive culture. Now, the first thing a leader needs to do is to communicate a clear and.
Let's listen one more time. I think he might be repeating himself.
Results. So I want to share with you the three things that a leader must do to ensure a productive culture. Now, the first thing a leader needs to do is to communicate a clear and compelling vision.
Okay, let's listen again.
Results. So I want to share with you the three things that a leader must do to ensure a productive culture. Now, the first thing a leader needs to do is to communicate a clear.
So he's a little bit repetitive with what a leader must do. So let's see if we can cut out this line about what a leader must do.
Cultures produce success. Productive cultures produce results. So I want to share with you the three things.
Okay, so let's cut out right here. Get rid of that, and then let's listen.
Productive cultures produce success. Productive cultures produce results. Now, the first thing a leader needs to do is to communicate a clear and compelling vision.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is now we need to cover up this clip. So we're going to take this slide and we're going to bring it onto the video 2 line. And then we want this to look and feel and seem like a natural transition. So we want whatever's on the overlay to be on the screen when he's saying whatever he's saying, but at the very least we have to cover up the clip. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drag this on, and then he doesn't really talk about what's on screen here, but he does here. So I'm going to take the transitions, I'm going to click cross dissolve, and I'm going to drag it onto here. And then we're going to make it 1 second, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I want to make this transition as close to this break as possible. I can't have my transition over the break because that will, you'll see the jump in clips. So at the very least it's got to be here. Okay, so then let's zoom out a little bit and let's add another transition towards the end, and then let's play and see what it looks like.
Productive cultures produce results. Now, the first thing a leader needs to do is to communicate a clear and compelling vision. You know, there's this ancient saying.
Okay, so I like a little bit of time at the end of their statement, so I'm just going to add a little bit here.
And compelling vision. You know, there's this ancient saying that says,
okay, so that looks good. It feels good. It feels like the natural timing of it. So I'm going to leave this like this, and then we're going to move on to editing the next section. So I'm just scrubbing through here.
Important role of a leader is to make sure he or she communicates a clear and compelling vision.
Okay, so he wraps up his point, and there's a big long break here. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this.
He communicates a clear and compelling vision.
Okay, and then right after he's done saying it, I'm going to make sure I'm not cutting off anything that he's saying. I'm not cutting off his audio, and then I'm just going to make a cut there. And then we're going to look for him stating the next line.
Now, the second thing that a leader needs to do to ensure productivity is leaders must give detailed expectations. I mean, that's the role of the leader. The leader has to say.
So he is going to continue on. So I know that he's gotten it. He said everything he wants to say the way that he wants to say it. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in here. We're going to go to the edge of the clip here.
Now the second thing.
Okay, and then right before he says now, we're going to cut it. And I'm going to select this and I'm going to get rid of it. And that'll move our footage over. So let's listen to see how it sounds.
Is to make sure he or she communicates a clear and compelling vision. Now, the second thing that a leader needs to do to ensure productivity is leaders must give detailed expectations. I mean, that's the role of the leader. Okay,
so that sounds great. So what we're going to do is we're going to get slide number 2, and I know I was listening, and I know I want to end it right about here, and I know I need to at least cover up the cut. So I'm going to drag that here, I'm going to go into my transitions, add that there, and add this here. Okay, now let's zoom in a little bit and make sure we're not putting our transition over our cut, and we're not, so it's good. Let's get it as close as we can. Perfect. So let's watch to see how it looks.
A clear and compelling vision. Now, the second thing that a leader needs to do to ensure productivity is leaders must give detailed expectations. I mean, that's the role of the leader. The leader has
Okay, so that was a great transition. So let's zoom out and let's find our next cut. So he's talking, and then there's a break here. So let's listen to see where he ends.
To be not only clear and compelling about the vision, they also learn to give well-defined expectations.
Okay, so that again was great. Dave is really great at wrapping up his thoughts by repeating his point. So we are going to just cut it here at the end, and then let's find the next verse. or the next point.
Now here's the third thing that leaders need to do to ensure productivity. Leaders must inspect what they expect. Now I just shared with you that a good leader has clear...
Okay. So let's zoom out just for a second to make sure this is the... Yep, so this is the last clip towards the end of the video. So let's move our scrubber up to right before he's about to talk. Okay. So let's cut that. Cut this out here. Okay, and then listen.
Leaders must inspect what they expect. Now I just shared...
Okay, so we're going to drag this on, and I want it to end there. And I'll start somewhere over here. So we'll add on our transitions. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. Shorten this up. Okay. And then let's watch.
They also learn to give well-defined expectations. Now here's the third thing that leaders need to do to ensure productivity. Leaders must inspect what they expect. Now I just shared with you that a good leader has...
Okay, and that's another great transition. So we're going to zoom out, and then let's go to the end here.
Activity is going to go way up. The success of your team or organization is going to go way up.
Okay, so that's the end of his video. So we're going to cut that right here. Select that, get rid of this, and then we're going to take our Flex Talk outro. We're going to add it to the end here. And then we're going to add the transition, the cross dissolve, to it. 1 second. Okay, and then what we're going to do is this time we're going to drag this video here right up to the edge. And we want this one to be pretty exact. Okay, so let's watch how this transition goes.
Organization is going to go way up.
Okay, great. That is the end of that. So we've got everything edited the way that we want. We've got all of our clips covered up by our verses. And then the last thing that we're going to do, after make sure you watch this through 2 or 3 times. Make sure that everything is good to go there. So now we've got a last few couple steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these clips of Dave. I'm going to right click them, and then I'm going to go to audio gain. Okay, so I'm going, its default is going to be 0, and what we're going to do is we're just going to click normalize. And this is going to boost all of our audio to be much louder.
From all outward indications, the company was doing well. People seem to be working.
Okay, so that's much louder, but really what we're looking for is that we have a nice, big, even waveform. If you've got some clips that are really quiet and some are really loud, that's bad. We don't want that. And so normalizing it will make all of them to be in a similar audio range. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to take this Flex Talk logo here, and we're going to drag it onto the video 3 line. And we're going to drag it all the way across the video, so it's going to be in the video the entire time.
From all outward indications, the company was doing well.
Great. And if this was our PursueGOD video, we'd put the PursueGOD logo down there at the bottom. So that's that. Everything's good to go. Just make sure that you watch over it enough times that you feel good. You can say this is there's no mistakes in the video. There's no bad transitions. All the transitions are good. and your audio is good, and you've got every element necessary. So the last thing to do now is to export. So we're going to go over here to the top right. We're going to go to Publish and Share. So it's going to look like this at first. So you're going to go over here to Computer, and then there's some options in here on the export file type. Make sure you've selected MPEG, and then we go to Presets. We're going to go to HDTV 72p 24 high quality. So this is the correct preset that we want. You're going to go to your file name, and we're going to call this three things. Oh, actually, you're gonna instead of spaces, what we need you to do is to put a dash between everything. This helps when we upload the video to the website. This helps in the naming, or in the URL. So three things. Make sure to capitalize it as if it were a title. A leader must do to ensure productivity. Okay, that's a very long title. Hopefully you don't have to do titles that long. Then we're going to go to Browse, and then I'm going to find where I've got my specific folder for this video, and I'm going to save it in there. And then I'm going to click Save.